Now let's have a look at Bhutan. Bhutan, as we all know, we know this area of Doklam where we had this first time face off with the Chinese
Where
and
yours and my area of operations was
operation, yeah,
as commanding officer.
commanding officers.
Yes,
Right. Now, if you see this map of Bhutan, I'll just explain the problem with China. The three red dots are the places where China has encroached: Jakarlung and Pasarlung at the top, Doklam. And this is the square kilometers which I've said. And they've laid claim to this area of Sakting, all right? And Sakting is deep, much behind Tawang. And with no road connectivity, no logic, no nothing, they've laid claim. And this claim has just started 2 years back. And it started when the Galwan crisis was on. And as per the latest developments which have taken place, China is trying to get one to one with Tibet and force a solution on them where they give up the claims to Jakarlung and Pasarlung, but they want Doklam, right? And they also say that they will give up their claim on that Sakting sanctuary, but we don't know. But how can you trust the Chinese? And in this kind of a thing, how do you see uh, and the thing with Bhutan and Nepal is slightly different, right? Because the unlike Nepal, Bhutan is virtually impregnable north to south from the Jakarlung Pasarlung side.
absolutely, sir.
Nepal can be, the Bhutan can be only outflanked and come through Doklam area or come through the border with Tawang and down to right to the Assam area. It's quite far apart with a huge massive. In fact, those of you who know Bhutan, going from East Bhutan to West Bhutan once upon a time was just not possible. These days they're building a road and some form of traffic has started. The Bhutan situation and the Nepal situation is a little different. But having said that, what is your take on it, Shokem?
So again, like Nepal, I have visited Bhutan many times. We were a part of the same formation.
Yep.
We've been there. We've taken out patrols to Dokalam. We've taken out patrols to Ha. We've taken out patrols from Thimphu downwards anywhere. The issue is that we have supported the Bhutan monarchy from the very beginning. Bhutan's entire economic wealth is because of what India gives them. And Bhutan knows that. I'm certain, sir, that King 5, the present King 5, did his NDC course with you.
Yep. No, no, he did a little later.
Okay,
No.
because I did
No, no,
the
no, he did it
2010.
earlier. Earlier. He did it earlier. Yeah.
Okay.
He did it earlier.
And he more than anyone else understands India's concerns, security concerns. And the monarchy still means and matters a lot in Bhutan,
I agree with you.
regardless of the political considerations or the fact that Nepal is a tiny kingdom and China is this huge kingdom, huge country with huge power. I don't think Nepal will fold up. I mean, Bhutan will fold up that easily, sir. You've already said that terrain and geography are very important considerations, sir, to fight a war. It will be not easy for them to get into the areas from Jakarlung and Pasamlung,
Yeah, that's virtually
and
impregnable.
we can hold on to Dokalam, sir. I have no doubt about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. On that, I have no doubt at all. After all, we have a
So
IMTRA
if
team there.
push comes to a shove, sir, I have no doubt that we will be able to control the Chinese in that area.
On
I
that,
have
I
no doubt.
have absolutely, what shall I say, no doubt whatsoever.
Yes.
I
So
might like to add to people that look, ethnically, the Bhutanese and the Tibetans don't have too much in common.
in common, they don't, sir. They're
They
very
don't
different
have.
tribes. The
They're very
Zonka
different
language is
tribes.
absolutely different
Absolutely
from the
different.
Tibetan.
The second part, which is very important, is the communication with Tibet historically, right, has only been either through the Chumbi Valley, that's the
Absolutely.
Doklam area, right? That means you go from Bhutan, East Bhutan, Ha or Paro Valley, you go up and you
Bilkul.
cross Ha and all those. And then you get out across a pass called Tremola, which is exactly opposite or Natula. and then
Absolutely.
you go into Tibet, or you go from the east, right? You skirt Tawang, right? And there's a monastery called the Tashigang. From Tashigang Zong, you go further north and you hit into, Tibet. The ingress from the north is from Tashigang Zong down to a place called Samdrup Jankar, which is just next to, our areas in near Rangia, right? And any move of the Chinese through that, right? Or any move of the Chinese through the Chumbi Valley onto the Siliguri corridor would be widely apart. There's no confluence.
There's no
You see,
confluence.
one of the funny things which I'd like to highlight, and I'm sure I'll go back and highlight this on this map. You know, for any Chinese offensive from Tibet into Nepal and Bhutan or coming down, one has to realize the offensives start concentrated but end up divergent, not supporting
Absolutely.
each other, and they peter out into very little itsy bitsy objectives. So for to that extent, and once that force is committed along a particular axis, that is the end of that force. It will not come
In
back.
the mountains, you can't change, sir.
Change, you can't change. So this
This
thing
is the
that
best.
this huge thing will come from Tibet and all, and will swarm down India is
No.
out, right? And we also have to understand that the even in 62, armies were when our army was roundly beaten up in a place like Sela and Natula and all that, not Natula, Sela,
Sela,
right?
yes.
Yeah, the Chinese didn't cross and come back. They went back. They don't
They
have the
went back.
experience to handle this, right? After the recent
Experience,
attempt,
ability to
and
handle these populations, sir.
not only the population and the terrain also.
Absolutely.
The terrain makes a lot of difference. People talk big, but I am of the opinion that it's not easy to move such huge forces along the mountains, even with what the terrain is at this point of time and the state of development and all that.
Absolutely.
Right. So with these things in view, right, I've spent a little time on Bhutan. I'm sure you'll agree with me that we need to support Bhutan, right? And we are supporting Bhutan.
And we are going to continue. And Bhutan
Continue.
realizes it, sir. If you've
Yeah.
spoken to the hierarchy and the monarchy of Bhutan, they realize very clearly that they are a part of the Indian security framework. And that
Period.
understanding will make sure that Bhutan will never exceed to what China says.
Yeah. Right. So if I wrap this, what we have spoken so far in the past 45 minutes before we take on questions, Shokin, actually, India is in a good position, right?
Yeah.
It's only that the Chinese activities and the pressure at times throws up, problems for the time being. We need to have that strategic confidence of being able to handle both these countries. There are brothers, really. There are, ethnic uh, real brotherhood, and they both need to be made to realize that, like in the past, we will be next to them in the future in their problems. Like, as much as their development depends on us, our development also depends on theirs. It has to be a mutual friendship issue, right? Where we, as a bigger country, have more to give to them than we can take from them.
And we must know that and be
Yeah,
more generous.
many more generous. I think you hit the word, because for a bigger country and the bigger brother to be more generous is more important than acting like a bigger brother,
Absolutely.
right?